landlord Bowie. Okay, I don't know what's happened with him.
Oh no, I told you, man. I just want my boy Lamar. My boy, like, come on, let him talk. I'm like, come on,
Where is
man.
he
Y'all,
at? I don't know where he's at. You gotta.
He's
He's
he's in the
busy. He's
audience.
busy.
waiting for my
Hello, he's
dog to
busy.
kick that
I
knowledge.
already
I'm
sent him
telling
the
you, man.
mic.
Oh well,
He's
Let
I
him
busy.
walk
invited him to
real
speak.
quick,
So
man.
he,
I appreciate that.
okay,
Yeah,
well he
he's
can call
busy.
in. Yeah, let's
He can
get
come whenever he wants.
let's get Tazarac in. Go ahead, Tazarac.
Good morning, Tazaria.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah, you
I
better
thought it
learn
was
how to read.
Tesseract too, like a tesseract,
It,
like a
it is
geometric shape.
Tazari.
Cesariak.
Okay,
Okay.
let me help you guys
No,
out.
it's just
Tazariak.
yeah,
Like read it.
yeah. That's all. You just got to read. It's just a little Hebrew.
Yep.
That's all. I wasn't even gonna talk. I was just trying to listen. But when you say why are white men stronger than foundation of Black American men, this is one of the rare times I would actually defend FBA's because FBA's are kind of Black men in general have been under the gun since we've been over here in America. So it's unfair to paint a picture that white men are naturally stronger as if we started at the same starting line. Like
Mm.
we didn't start at the same starting line, the gun go off, and then we're running at the same speed, or we would outlap them. But as they watched us through our history be stronger than them, they would put things in place. I heard somebody bring up the drug epidemics, which we fell for. Now, why did they do that? Because at that time in the 60s, you had Black men that was inspiring other Black men. And then they targeted Black men and said, here, we're going to take away jobs and then give you this drug to sell. So as they would attack us economically, we never been on the same playing field. So it's really an unfair advantage. So the one thing FBA does, if they do it the right way, as far as inspiring Black men to care more, then I'm all for that. So I think it's really unfair to say why they're stronger. We know why they're stronger because they had a. I remember Chris Rock made a joke one time when he was talking about affirmative action, and he was like, "I don't think that if a white man is more qualified than a Black man, that the Black man should get the job. But if it's a tie, fuck him, because you had a 400-year head start. So you can't take one ethnicity that has that start and is in a position of power, and then take another ethnicity who was enslaved by the same race that had the power, and then think that it's a fair question to ask. I yield.
Well, why not? If you can't beat them, join them.
There ain't nobody that has given more love to Black people, excuse me, to America than Black people, period. We fought in their military. They told us we couldn't fly planes. What did the Tuskegee Airmen do? Not only did they fly planes, when they escorted those planes, they never lost a bomber. What did they get for joining their military? Nothing. When we fought in the Civil War, what did we get? Nothing. When we fought in the Revolutionary War, what did we get? Nothing. There's nobody more patriotic than Black people, period.
If
Black
you're that
people.
patriotic, right? Then there
Hmm.
should never be any thought in your head that white Americans are actually your enemy because
You
you
know
were
who puts
born
the
here. No,
thought
no,
in our head?
wait. You were born in this country. This country is yours. Instead of trying to upload some idiotic concept called "quote unquote" blackness, why
Hmm.
not just embrace America as it is?
Because you
Instead
that's
of
a
you
stupid.
considering
Okay,
something
don't get
different.
offended. Don't get offended by the statement I'm gonna
In
say, but that's a stupid
uh
question. That's a stupid
yeah,
question
go ahead.
because it's not Black people that created a dynamic of Black versus white. It's white
No,
people that created a
okay.
dynamic of
The
Black. So you got to
dynamic
act.
of
You
black and white is a class issue, not a race issue. And
again.
Negroes have been
Thank
beaten
you.
in the
Your
head with this to
preferred.
think it's a
Thank
racial
you.
issue. That's the
Wait,
Okay,
wait,
problem.
wait. So
here's the
truism.
problem. Slow down, Swifty. We didn't create white water fountains and black water fountains. America
And
did,
it's
and it
all
wasn't
nice, well,
based.
and good.
All,
Hold on,
all wait, why
All
do I
right.
got
So
to
now
get interrupted?
hold on, guys.
instead of you, okay, my bad.
Hold on, guys, hold on. Let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Taz. You gotta unmute, buddy. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that mute is
Yeah, my
crazy.
fault, Taz. You got
My bad, bro.
Tazaria,
Y'all had me on
Tazaria.
mute. Y'all
I
had me
did.
on
I
Tazaria.
did.
mute.
I had you on mute.
Ooh,
No, no,
I
no,
was
no,
my
no.
bad. Here you go.
No, no,
Come
no.
on, man.
I was trying to tell them to not cut you off. But go ahead, Taz. Go ahead.
That's a double mute.
Oh, I hate this thing. Yeah. Okay, there you.
I have this conversation sometimes with Moorish people with the whole white thing. I'm white from a class system. That's cool. White people don't respect that shit. When we had white water fountains and black water fountains, they wasn't doing that based on class. They was doing that based on race. when they systematically
Mm.
oppress black people and lock them up, they ain't doing it on class. They doing it based on race. Even if stupid ass DEI, where black people don't even realize they didn't benefit the most out of it, out of other people. It wasn't based on class. It was based on race. So this conversation, this is like the Chitlin circuit type of conversation. You know, when singers was making it, they would call that the Chitlin circuit. And then when you make it with white people, that's the real circuit. This whole class shit that y'all talk about, that's a Chitlin circuit conversation.
I,
Because America is not doing anything based on a white and black class.
I
When it's white and
disagree.
black with America, it's race
I
based.
disagree. If
Hey,
you have,
Taz, let me ask you a question. I'm assuming you are a black man. What is
But if I could just go back to
oh,
listening,
okay.
that I'm just saying that for go ahead, brother.
I just want to ask you one quick question. As a man, what is so wrong with wanting to secure your racial group is on top?
It's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
I'm not against. So for the record, I ain't against no ethnicity wanting their ethnicity to be on top. So the problem is when we go out to let our race be on top, we're the ones that's hit by other ethnicities to not be on top. Black people are not trying to stop white people from being great, but white people are stopping black people from being great. That's historical. At any point in time where they saw the greatness of black people coming to fruition, they would attack us, whether it's physical, whether it's a lie. They lied to burn down Black Wall Street, and then Wall Street got built back up through integration. So it didn't even belong to us no more.
Mm.
They
but
unalived. Yeah, I'm listening.
Taz, let me ask you one question, please. I know you got a short
Mhm.
time. Why do you care what the rest of the people in your race are doing? Like, I don't care what the rest of the white people or the Italians are doing. I only care what I'm doing and the people who are getting money with me are doing. Why do I care about what everyone else in my quote unquote race is doing?
Well, the first thing I said was the one thing I say about FBAs is if this FBA, if they do it right and they're about empowering black people, I'm all for it. That's the first thing I said. I didn't say only reason I answered it as far as what white people are doing because the title of the room says why are white men stronger than foundational black Americans? So you should ask the host
Yeah,
why is he
I don't
concerned?
agree with the premise of
Wait, let
that
me just
statement.
finish.
Yeah.
Just let me finish. So you should ask the host why did he bring white people into the equation? Don't ask me. But if the topic is about white people being stronger than FBAs, I'm addressing the topic. That's why I'm talking about white people. If this was about just can FBA men be stronger, then I would be talking about FBA men, and I would never mention white people.
But
You understand that?
you would also have to agree that people, regardless of their race, are not a monolith as far as intellect, right? And doesn't
Correct.
intellect separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak? So
Intellect, intellect.
But
If
you already
intellect
did
is
that in the
done,
title, though, Peter.
if intellect is done properly, it wouldn't necessarily separate the wheat from the chaff in the sense of you get rid of those that are less intellectual. But what it would allow is for the intellectual ones to be in charge to care for the less intellectual. That's how it's supposed to be. The
that
intelligent person is not supposed to look at the unintelligent person and take advantage of them. He's supposed to build them up.
that's a very
So again,
I agree with you. It's very idealistic, right? Because people prey
that's
on
not
other individuals.
idealistic. That's not idealistic because when I see Jewish people, I use this. I'm gonna use this example. Sterling Silver owned the LA Clippers, and LA Sterling Silver was found to be racist or something like that. And then Magic Johnson and all of them was in the whole uproar, and I think they ended up getting Sterling Silver off of being owner of the Clippers. Sterling Silver said, "I might if I'm saying their name wrong, I apologize. It might be Ronald Sterling, something like that." But what he said,
Donald. Yeah, you
Donald
good.
Sterling, there
Yeah,
we go.
I know who you're
So,
talking about.
but what he said cut Magic Johnson to pitch because this is what he said. He said Magic Johnson is doing all that complaining, but he doesn't take care of his own people. He wants to play golf with me. In my community, the rich take care of the poor. That's what he said. And so it's not idealistic. It just sounds like a pipe dream because black people have never seen nothing like that because the closest we ever seen that was segregation. The closest we ever seen black people really coming together and focusing on themselves was at a time where we recognized the racism that we was experiencing and we didn't fight them back with racism. We just built our own. But since we've decided to integrate, you can't do two things at once. You can't integrate with a people that's not for you and then build your people up. You have to first build your people up, and then you can sit at the table.
But
Look at Ukraine. Look at Trump and the Ukraine cat. Trump is belittling that cat. Why? Because that cat has no power. He's subjected to all the shit that Trump was saying to him and his vice president was saying to him, and he can't do nothing. And what is the threat that Trump said? You can fight us, but if we don't support you, you lose the war. And as we integrate with white people, it's the same exact thing. If we fight them, we're going to lose. It would be better to go back to segregation. And what I mean by segregation, maybe not as extreme as it was back then, but integration, we lost families, we lost education, we lost businesses. That's why we fight in DEI, we fight in other things. So I do have to go to have to
You
step
never
into this
really had
council.
families, unfortunately.
but Taz, it's a
That's
different
the main thing
time.
that's going to keep that's hobbling to you. You don't
Right,
have
but
families. The concept of
no, we
it's
had way
entirely
better.
alien to
Slow down,
niggas.
Swifty. We had
No,
way better
no,
families than we
mm-mm.
do now. You could
No, you
listen.
don't.
When I grew
Sorry.
up, listen. I was born in
That's all nice,
1970.
well, and good.
I
And
was
yes,
born
I
in
understand.
19. One second.
That's all
I
nice,
was
well,
born
and
in
good. I understand that. But I
1975.
know, wait, hold on. That's nice, well, and good. You're only 2 years older than I am. And I know
No
one thing
problem. Where
I
you
know
live at?
niggas.
Where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Philadelphia.
Okay, so now when we grew up, so Philadelphia, then you know about the move. You know about the
Yes,
move when they.
and I saw it. And do you want to know how I know that when I go back to my first original statement, that
Mhm.
main thing that's been hobbling niggas forward growth is the fact that they've been tied to and laying in bed with their worst enemy.
And who was their worst enemy?
Let me make it so you can actually hear everything that I'm saying.
You know who it
It's
is.
the
You know
No,
who
I
it
just want to
is.
know who the
world.
Come
worst. I just
on,
want to know
bro.
who
Don't
the.
cut
Again.
that
Oh
out.
my goodness.
I
Start with
don't
this
know who the
Germanic
gentleman is
dabble.
speaking,
Oh
but who
my
is the worst
God.
enemy?
I'm gonna say it again so you can hear. Make sure you get it in your ears. Your very worst enemy, the one who has been holding you back since 1619, has always been and will always be.
And now I feel like they've been holding you back
Will always be
since
what?
you
Will
could
always
dream
be what?
about them.
You
Everybody
said,
keep trying to
say,
say
did
it.
he
Wet
say the
dreams
black
about
women?
them.